So it's Chris from Vigier Guitars, and let me introduce the legend Roger Glover from Deep Purple. Thank you very much
you're welcome.
for everything, for this exclusive interview. As a producer, how do you choose for the Now What album? You're a producer, Bob as well.
Well, we all have different ideas. Although, more precisely, none of us had any real idea about who should be the producer. There's no leader of the band, there's 5 guys, and of course we all disagree, we all have different inputs.
You and Deep Purple choose the producer all together?
Well, when I first joined the band in '69, they'd had a producer for the previous albums. Working with Bob, none of us chose Bob, but he, I guess someone from the agency or someone approached him and thought it'd be a good idea. And he actually didn't think it was a good idea until he came to see us. He saw us play in Toronto. And really he said, we had a meeting the next day and he said some great stuff, which I found was very, it made me feel comfortable. Because
this is the most important, because you're recording.
Well, a good producer's job is to make the band or the artist feel comfortable enough to play their song and come out and perform.
To take the best inside you for the recording session.
Yeah, the whole object of the exercise is to capture on tape the best thing you can get from that person at that time. Yeah.
This is the magic of it.
And I still, as I say, don't know what producers do, but I watched the way he worked, and we have similar methods, if you like. Although he's a lot more, he's much more the captain of the ship than I am. He boxes orders, do this, do that.
This is why you look like a pirate.
Well, I'm not like that. I'm a much more placid sort of guy. I tend to get performances out of people by being nice with them.
Okay.
Writing, I think, 2 things. Partly because we hadn't written a song together in 7 or 8 years, so there's a lot of build up to it, and partly the idea of stretching out. There were no rules, so choosing an audience for an album is not something we ever consider. We never consider what it's going to be and who it's going to be played for and who's going to buy it. We do it purely for ourselves, and it was always that way. You make music for yourself. If you start chasing an audience, somehow you're not a leader anymore, you're a follower. I think it was Ian Gillan said, we should start the album with a simple song and then follow it with Weirdest Name, because then the rest of the album flows. Those 2 songs set up the mood of the album, and it's a mood of experimentation, it's a mood of no holds barred rock. It's just all out. In a simple song, when the crash comes in, it's so exciting. It really is hard rock. It's not heavy metal, it's not death metal, it's not thrash, it's just plain simple hard rock. And I think Bob recorded it very well. I think he inspired us. And as I said, we were pleasing ourselves. Those 2 songs, though, are very unusual songs for us. They're nothing like we've ever done before. On a couple of the previous albums, on Bananas, for example, the producer then wanted us to sound like vintage Deep Purple. And in trying to do that, we're not leading anymore, we're following ourselves. So we put all the past behind us on Now What. Forget the past. This is who we are now. Let's make the best album we can and write some really unusual and original songs.
So for Vigier Guitars, how do you prepare your best before a recording session? The most important for you?
I get a really old Scotch whiskey. Pour it from the neck all the way down the body.
Really hard. How many years you need?
20 years at least.
Okay.
So it's part of my business expense.
Okay.
Drench the guitar and then of course when I play it I cover it in sweat. So you get a mixture of sweat and whiskey.
Okay.
It's a dynamite combination.
So that's the most important. If someone want to play with Roger Glover, you need to buy whiskey first.
Yeah.
Okay.
The truth is, I don't prepare my guitars.
Okay.
When I arrive at the gig, it's the luxury that my guitar is all there, it's working, there's sometimes new strings on it,
Okay.
and it's in tune. So I don't have to actually think about anything like that.
No tricks.
No.
Okay. How did you discover Vigier the first time with the Vigier bass? Because batteries give us his version, but we need your version too.
Oh boy, better be the same. I'll tell you exactly, I remember it very well. It was 1985, the Perfect Strangers tour, I think, or it might have been a couple of years later, the House and Good Light tour. Either way, it was middle of the 80s.
Okay.
We played Paris, and someone came in the dressing room after the show and said, there's a chap outside who wants to show you a guitar. And I said, fine. I'd been in the habit of actually trying out every guitar under the sun, trying to find a guitar that made me sound better than I was, a guitar that really helped rather than hindered me. And so I said, yeah, show him in. And Patrice came in with a guitar. It was white. It was quite ugly, had a very ugly, awkward shape. And I sort of looked at it skeptically, and I said, how do you do? Pleased to meet you. And he said, I want to show you something. And without anything else, he said, look, ding, 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 it's in tune. I said, yeah. Then he put it on the floor, stepped on it until the neck was doing this, bounced up and down a few times, by which time everyone in the dressing room going, what is he doing?
Okay, this is what he said. This is the same version.
And then he picked it up again and said, bing, 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 see, still in tune now. Amazing.
What do you like the most in Vigier XS bass and why? So, you answer in your last?
It's almost an answer to the last question. Yes, it's a great sound on stage. These days I go to a TC Electronic amplifier, and the combination of the Vigier and the TC Electronic is just it's fabulous. Bass players in bands very rarely get complimented, especially by singers. But several times over the last couple of years, Ian Gillan's come over to me in the middle of the set and he's gone, what a great sound! Wow, that makes my evening.
This is my sound.
It's round, it's solid, it's not wallowy. It's just a great big round sort of organic sound.
Yeah, I understand.
Very clean as an effect, but I don't like effects. Every effect I've tried actually takes away from the real core of the sound.
Yeah.
Because an effect,
for sure,
it just affects the sort of outer edge of the sound. So it's buzzy kind of.
Yes, and you have this sound with your Vigier.
Yeah.
You have a typical sound, a little bit of rock, in natural. This is why it's important.
Well, when you're playing in a hard rock band, it's fairly loud. We're not the loudest band in the world anymore, but it's still a loud band. There's no room for little textures on top.
Okay.
You know, you're fighting 4 other guys for space, and so you need to be as pure and as simple and straightforward as possible.
Love is there? Love is there.
That's not a question. Or if it's a question, the answer is yes.
This is a question. Yes, love is there.
Funny enough, I was playing that she's not exactly my wife because we're not married yet, but my girlfriend, the mother of my 2 young children. Her cousin is staying with us at the moment, and she's studying in the university, medicine and stuff like that, so she's living with us for a couple of months. And we were in my studio one night when I first got here, and I was just playing some stuff. And I said, have you ever heard the Butterfly Ball? She said, no. I said, oh, it's an album I did, so I showed her the book and then I played some of the music. And I played that song, Love Is All. And it's one of those magic songs it's got a life of its own. You know, the whole album took me about 6 months to write, and I'll never know why I was given the job of making the music, because at that time no one knew anything about me except I was a bass player in Deep Purple. They didn't know about my ability to write songs, even though I wrote a lot of songs for Deep Purple. You don't see that because all 5 names are on the keep perfect
Yeah,
harmony.
okay, okay.
So you don't know who did what. So there was no proof that I had any talent as a songwriter. So why it came my way, I don't know. When I finished the album, I thought, oh, it's not good enough. I remember working for 3 days straight with no sleep, and finally we had the big party and listened to it, and I burst into tears. Because after 6 months of working on it, it didn't satisfy me.
But when everything is finished?
When everything was
with
finished,
the,
didn't
the
satisfy
things
me.
too.
Yeah, it
Okay.
didn't satisfy me. And I felt terrible about it. But that was the heat of the moment. I mean, years later now, I look back on that, and I'm actually very proud of it. It was a huge achievement. But maybe I'm, as a writer, as an artist, I'm pretty tough on myself.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know, it's too easy to fall into, oh, that'll do. You know, I want everything I want to be as good as possible, obviously. And now it's an album that has stood the test of time. I think it's been a hit 3 or 4 times here in France. It was huge in various other countries, Belgium, Holland, and so on.
Our neighbors.
And there's talk of a guy in Australia turning it into a stage production, which I think it needed to have been done a long time ago.
Okay.
Because I think it would be a great Broadway type, Cats type musical, or something like that. I don't know. But there's been a lot of interest over the years, and nothing ever really kind of happened. So let's see if it happens this time. You know, I'll be very pleased if it does. I was walking down the street actually earlier this morning, thinking, love is all. Probably all these people know that song.
Ah, you see the frog and
And people have come up to me and said, you know, they grew up with that, they loved it, and etc., etc. So it's a very warm, gratifying feeling to have something that touched people's lives like that.
okay. Because it's amazing song too, because you have Ronnie James Dio singing this song.
Well, as before he was known. You know, I mean, I produced 3 albums of Elf. So I knew Ronnie very well. No one else did. You know. But I thought he was just a fantastic singer. I loved working with him. Great voice. Love him. Lovely guy too. I miss him.
Only you can say that.
No, he was a very caring guy. He was a hard-bitten upstate New Yorker. He could be tough and he could be cynical and he could be very funny. But his heart was pure and he loved what he did, and he always had respect for the fans. That means a lot to me.
He is a real metal
I don't
singer.
like artists that you know, if someone wants an autograph, yeah, fuck off. You know, it really gets to me that. So and he was always very, very nice to the fans, and so as am I. You know, I just without them, where the hell would we be? You know? So yeah. Lots of lovely people in my life have passed away, and it's sad to say.
This is the best word for the end of this interview.
Yeah.
So thank you very much.
I'm still here, so I'm very thankful for that. Thank you.
See you later. Thank you.
Yeah.